In this video, we are going to be talking about measures of central tendency, which are ways to find the middle of a data set. We're going to compute the mean, median, and mode from raw data. We want to interpret the mean, median, and mode, and also explain how the mean, median, and mode can be affected by extreme data values. We call extreme data values outliers, by the way. So the mean, median, and mode are all considered ways to find averages, which is sort of a general term for the middle of a data set. Let's start with the mode. The mode of a data set is the value that occurs most frequently, or the one that shows up the most. Notice that mode and most kind of sound similar, so that kind of could help you remember that. A data set can have more than one mode. If it has two modes, we call it bimodal. It also could have no mode if there's no one or two data values that stick out as showing up the most. And if there are more than two modes, often those modes might not be statistically significant. If no value occurs more frequently than the others, there's no mode. All right, so the mode of this data set, if we look and see which ones show up the most, it looks like the number 4 is showing up a lot. I see 5 4s. Are there any numbers that show up more than that? I don't think so. So that would be our mode. Notice we did not have to put our data values in order from least to greatest to find the mode, but if we did, it might have helped us find the mode more easily, but we didn't have to. Now we're going to talk about the median. The median of a data set is the central value of an ordered distribution, or the middle number. So the numbers do have to be in order from least to greatest. So our first step to find the median is to order the data from smallest to largest. So let's do that in 2A. There's my data from least to greatest, and always count the number of numbers in your data set and make sure that when they're in order from least to greatest that it matches, so you know you didn't miss any numbers. This data set has 6 numbers. Now, if you have an even number of numbers, there are going to be 2 middle numbers in your distribution, and you're going to have to take both middle numbers, add them together, and divide by 2. You're basically finding the mean of your 2 middle numbers. In this case, our 2 middle numbers are 19 and 27. So I add them together and divide by 2, and I get 23. I'm going to do the same for part B. Pause the video and put the data values in order yourself. Okay, there's my data values in order. This time I have 11 data values, and my middle number is this 7 right here. When you choose your middle number, there should be the same number of data values below and above. Notice I have 5 data values below and 5 above, which tells me that 7 is my middle number. And so that is my median. Now, a trick that can be really helpful for larger data sets is to use this yellow box right here. You can find the position of the middle value by taking the number of data values in your set, adding 1, and dividing by 2. So if we go back to 2A, I had 6 numbers. So to find the position of the median, I can do 6 plus 1 divided by 2, and I get 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. That tells me my median is between my third and fourth data values. And if you look above, there's my first, second, third, and fourth. So Those two middle numbers that I boxed were the third and fourth data values, and I had to add them together and divide by 2 to find the median. Now if I do the same for the second data set, I had 11 numbers. So for the position, I do 11 plus 1 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. So my sixth number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is my median. So the sixth data value is the median. And now for our last measure of central tendency, the mean, which is sometimes called the arithmetic mean. A lot of times when we hear the word average, we think of this measure of central tendency. What we're going to do is we add up all the entries and divide by the number of entries. So looking at example 3, to graduate, Linda needs at least a B in biology. She did not do very well in her first 3 tests. However, she did well on the last 4. Here are her scores: 58, 67, 60, 84, 93, 98, and 100. Compute the mean and determine if Linda's grade will be a B, 80 to 89 average, or a C, 70 to 79 average. So to find the mean, we're going to add up those numbers. They don't need to be in order. And then we're going to divide by, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. And we get 560 over 7, which is 80. So Linda will get a B. Since we're in college statistics, there are going to be some symbols that we need to become familiar with when we are analyzing data. We're going to use the symbol X bar, right here, we say X bar, to represent the mean of a sample distribution, and mu to represent the mean of a population. Remember, if you are studying a group, if you have everybody in the group, that's the population. If you're studying part of a group to make a prediction about the entire population, that's a sample. So we use different symbols for the sample mean and the population mean. And here are symbolic ways to express those means, sample mean and population mean, using the summation symbol. The summation symbol here at the top means sum the following or add up the following. So right here, X bar equals the summation of all the X values, that's the sum of all the data values, divided by little n, which is the number of data values in the sample. Or for populations, mu equals the sum of all the data values divided by big N, which is the number of data values in the population. We want to be familiar with those symbols and to use them moving forward. A disadvantage of the mean is that it can be affected by exceptional values. Exceptional values are called outliers. Outliers are numbers that are much higher or much lower than the other data values in the set. A resistant measure is one that is not influenced by extremely high or low data values. The mean is not a resistant measure of center because we can make the mean as large as we want by changing the size of only one data value. Imagine this data set right here represents some grades on a test. It seems like my students did pretty well. The mean is 92.4 approximately, if we add up the data values and divide by 9. The median, the middle number, is 93. The mode is 98. Now let's say one student was absent and his grade, or hers, was not calculated in the original data set. So that student was chronically absent and got a 35 on the test. Now, if I recalculate the measures of central tendency with that outlier included, and that's an outlier because it's way below all the other numbers in the data set. The mean becomes 86.7. The median, now I have two middle numbers, and if I add them together and divide by 2, I'm going to get 92. And the mode is still 98. So my median changed a tiny bit. The mode didn't change, but my mean went down significantly. Most of my students got B's and A's. Most of them actually got A's, but my mean went all the way down to an 86.7 because of that one data value, which shows how the mean is not resistant to extremely high or extremely low data values called outliers.